Coming to you from the mountains and the plain. The only conservative voices brave enough to push back. This is the Conservative Daily Podcast with Joe Otto.
That's what the Second Amendment was designed to do. If you're going to do something to nullify or take away my rights under the Constitution, come get it.
Max McGuire.
When you look at politicians on the left, they need to convince people that they are victims.
A resistance to the resistance. And now your hosts, Joe Otto and Max McGuire.
And welcome back to another edition of the Conservative Daily Podcast. My name is Max McGuire.
And my name is Joe Otto.
So we are an hour early today. Apologies. We had to work around Joe's schedule. He's heading out of town, so we wanted to make sure we got this in because it's a big topic today. And this falls, Joe, under that category of every dog gets its day once in a while. You, for a long time, to the dismay of many people, repeat the line that the Democrats are closet racists, rapists, and pedophiles. And so this is your day. You are the dog that gets its day today.
But why do I always get my day? I get my day. I get my day.
Because today we are talking about the biggest bombshell out of the Hunter Biden emails yet. The idea that it contains alleged lewd images or videos of children, and that Rudy Giuliani has referred it to Delaware Police for investigation. So we're going to get into all that. We're an hour early today. Just want to make sure, Joe, that you know that this is you getting your day today to talk about this.
I want to say good morning to all the people that are saying good morning to us right now. And I just want you all to know that we are winning the fight. We are winning the fight against pedophiles, rapists, and closet racists. That is everything, by the way, the loony left represents. Sorry. And I've been saying this for a long time, Max, since the beginning. I said you choose. And you get to also choose whether or not you're complicit in that behavior by following the Democrats. So, you choose. They get to, big tech guys that are the big loony leftist guys, the George Soros of the world that say that they're for equality and all those things. But by the way, they're for equality and less than 1% of their workforce represent blacks, right? Because why not, right? Because you got to talk about what other people should do, but you as a company should not follow your own rules. And then we talk about pedophilia, which is a huge problem in this country. It's a huge problem in this country, right? And every single time we have a conversation about another prominent Democrat, right, or connected Democrat, we're talking about corruption, we're talking about pedophilia, we're talking about racism, and we're talking about rapists. Sorry, it's true. It's true, right?
So before we get into this, we have to explain why we're doing this episode on this topic. And there was a text message that was released from Hunter Biden's emails. It's actually a text message between Hunter Biden and Joe Biden talking about, well, let's just put it on the screen, image one. So the blue is Hunter Biden, the gray is Joe Biden. Joe says no. Redacted stayed with friend taking her to CCD after mass. Redacted running. This is redacted, right? And then this is what Hunter texted him. She told my therapist that I was sexually inappropriate with redacted when she says that I FaceTime naked with her. And the reason I can't have her out to see me is because I'll walk around naked smoking crack. I don't know what that says. Talking redacted girls on FaceTime. When she was pressed, she said that redacted never said anything like that. But the bottom line is that I create and cause a very unsafe environment for the kids. If it stopped there, I would let it go. But then redacted friend, redacted sober coach. So the redactions are there because we have to make sure that we redact the identities of any children or any people involved in this. That is an email. That's a text between Hunter Biden and Joe Biden where Hunter's telling him that a woman, we presume it's a family member, probably someone he was seeing, that she told his therapist that he was sexually inappropriate with redacted. And that he FaceTimes naked with her, and the reason that Hunter can't have her out to see him is because he'll walk around naked, smoking crack, talking to girls on FaceTime. It's it's one of those things that you don't expect to see that between father and son, Those aren't what you expect to see between Joe and Hunter Biden in their text messages.
Nope.
But that is the basis for what everything we're talking about today, because it's all starting to unravel. And this is what prompted Rudy Giuliani to give the laptop to Delaware Police. What do you think of this text, Joe?
I think they have a lid on Biden until Thursday because I don't think he could handle the backlash from the media that's supposed to be on his side that basically has been weaponized to help the left. I'm trying to figure out how they're thinking right now. I mean, they got this text, and they have to be thinking to themselves, "Oh my gosh, another one of us has been outed."
Yeah.
It's not funny, but look, evil. At some point, you can shed light on it. You just got to keep the light on it, keep the light on it, keep the light on it, and the evil will come out, right?
So you mentioned that Joe Biden was hiding in his house. Let's put up. Let's skip ahead, Mr. Producer, to image 6. This is how Fox was covering Biden yesterday. No, image 6, not cut 6. Image 6. This is how Fox News was covering Joe Biden hiding in his house. You can see that they have a live cam on Joe Biden's house in Wilmington, Delaware, and then Biden hiding at home 2 weeks from Election Day. So apparently Biden got wind that Fox News had a camera outside of his house. So, Mr. Producer, let's put up image 7. This is what happened. He turned the lights off on his porch. So I wanted to show that because it was very funny. I watched that in real time. Biden hiding, and Fox had the camera out. But listen, this is gross stuff. The fact that there are text messages between Hunter and Joe Biden talking about how someone doesn't want him to be able to see a kid because of his improprieties, it's really gross stuff.
Wow. Sorry, I was just actually sharing the link because I think more people need to hear it. By the way, if you're on here right now, you need to hit the share button. Share. I mean, this is big stuff, right? This is big stuff. And the stuff that we're bringing out right now, look, it's never even happened that a presidential candidate, right, has been literally hiding 2 weeks before the election. Hiding.
Yeah.
Not even talking to the American people. Where it's coming out that he's taking bribes, he's holding equity in companies in his son's name, that he's taking half of his pay. This isn't me. This is Hunter Biden just regurgitating it on his computer. And not one of the Bidens, ladies and gentlemen, not one of the Bidens have actually come out and said this is not true. It's not true. Not one.
Well, they're claiming it's all a lie.
Oh,
they're claiming it's all fake.
Oh yeah, it's fake. Fake. Oh, it's so fake.
So we do have a caller. Our number is 888-441-1121. We have Dave on the line. Wants to know when Barr knew about the laptop. Dave, how's it going?
Going pretty good. Just started watching you guys. You're awesome.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
Good to hear from you, Dave. Where are you calling us from, by the way?
Yeah.
Where are you calling us from?
South Carolina.
South Carolina.
Okay.
Lindsey Graham.
You think Graham's going to win?
Yes. Say yes.
Boy, I hope he wins because he's a Republican. I do have some questions. I've heard you guys talk about his flip-flopping. I do have questions about that, but I want him to win because he's Republican.
Yeah. Yeah, we fall in the same boat. What do you got? What do you want to ask about Barr?
So the whole laptop thing is just confusing to me. Did Barr know about it in 2019? Did the FBI? How far up did they know? I mean, why has this thing been sitting there and nobody's done anything?
So sure, Mr. Producer, go ahead and put up image 2. We covered this on the show a couple days ago. This was a grand jury subpoena dated December 17th, 2019 for Hunter Biden's laptop. It was for the laptop, the external hard drive. And I want to go ahead. Yeah. Let's put up image 3. I don't know if you're still watching us. On the bottom, you can see that there's someone who signed the back of it. We can't see what's on the back of it, but someone signed the back of it. So internet sleuths have been trying to figure out who signed it. So, okay, let's switch to image 4, Mr. Producer. When you flip it, you can actually see what the signature looks like. And people realize that that's the signature for a man named Joshua Wilson, who is an FBI investigator who primarily deals with child pornography cases and child endangerment cases. So let's go ahead and put up image 5 now, just so you can see the signature. See how that J looks very similar. We can switch back between 4 and 5. Notice the J in Joshua Wilson's signature. Notice the J in that signature. The guy who went to Delaware to pick up Hunter Biden's laptop, was Joshua Wilson, a special agent at the FBI who primarily over the last couple of years has been working child pornography, child endangerment cases. So it's if Hunter Biden's laptop was picked up for that reason, which we know it was in December of 2019, I guarantee that Barr knew about it. Mm-hmm. The challenge is, why hasn't anything happened with it? Why did the FBI sit on it for so long? And as we talked about yesterday, this was all given to Trump and Rudy Giuliani when impeachment was going on, because Trump was impeached for saying that what Hunter Biden and Joe Biden were doing sounded horrible. He wanted someone to take a look at it. He was impeached over that. So this was all exculpatory information proving that Donald Trump had every reason to be concerned about what was going on. The FBI sat on it, not only protecting Hunter Biden, but preventing Donald Trump from being able to use this to his defense. So I don't know when Barr knew about it, but the fact that this was subpoenaed and went that high up in the child endangerment side of the FBI suggests that he probably would have been briefed.
So I guess I'm confused. I thought Barr was going to be a good guy to expose all this stuff, and now I'm wondering, is there something, somebody pushing buttons with him?
So I mean, let's take a step back. If we start eating our own, and Dave, you'd probably agree, we eat our own a lot, right?
Yep.
So if we stop eating our own for just a minute and just move on the word accountability, let's just hold them accountable, right? And let's just understand that sometimes this case is better served cold. In other words, Barr can't have his fingers on everything, otherwise it'll look like Barr is just doing the biddings of Trump. So he has to let this process run. My guess is that he was notified of it. My guess is, as he said, hey, go through the process, right? And my guess is he did not want to put his fingers on it, because had he put his fingers on it, it would have looked as if Barr was just, again, doing the biddings of someone else. So I know it's not happening fast enough. I promise you, Dave, it's not happening fast enough for me, right? But I do want us to be patient with the process of accountability, because frankly, in the end, if all of this stuff is true and then Hunter Biden is not arrested, and if President Trump is not reelected and they sweep this under the rug, God forbid that not happen, by the way, and Joe Biden gets into office, you're going to have an uprising of what I believe are the righteous people in this country. And if they think Antifa causes problems, Dave, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen when all this gets swept under the rug and they want to act as business as usual? I can tell you right now, I'll be standing right next to you.
Oh, I'm with you. I've been listening to you guys the last few days. I'm with you.
So,
well, thank you for that. My concern is that obviously Christopher Wray knew about this, the head of the FBI. He knew about this. He did nothing about this. So I think we support law enforcement totally, but I think what we're learning is that this narrative that 99% of the FBI are good people and it was just a few bad apples at the top
is wrong.
Is wrong. Right? It goes much deeper than just people like Comey, people like McCabe, Rosenstein, who were purged out. It goes much deeper than that. And I don't think it's Barr's fault. I do think Wray has a ton of responsibility in this, but I no longer believe the narrative that it's just 1% of the FBI. There are a lot of people in the FBI who never wanted this to see the light of day. And if the laptop repair guy hadn't sent it to Rudy Giuliani to help defend against impeachment, we never would have known about this.
Yeah, you're right.
I guess my one last thing is that this really needs to come out now, because people are voting already.
Yeah, and I think the fear that I have and the consternation I have is why? Why hasn't it come out yet, right? Why hasn't this been more at the forefront if they knew about it in December?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's well, thank you so much for your call.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. God bless you.
And thanks for listening. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe on Facebook. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube as well. Right, thanks so much for the call.
Max, I'm going to interrupt this really quick.
No, we have a ton.
No. I want to tell people again to share, right? And I want to tell people about how to make sure that they can know what's going on, right? So we do this every day, so I want to continue to do that. So, and if you could put it in the comments, that'd be great as well. First of all, we know that we're being suppressed by tech companies. And the amount of growth that we're having, the emails we're getting, the amount of success that we're having on putting pressure on congressional leaders, that's happening. All of that stuff is happening. And we're having an enormous effect. It's like a waterfall effect. But we also know they're suppressing our voice. Like they're making it difficult. They're freezing screens on Facebook. They're trying to block us or block our ability to get our message out on YouTube and other areas. So we are building a brand new platform. It should be out here very shortly. But ways that you can stay connected with us is to text FREEDOM, FREEDOM, text FREEDOM to 89517. When we start our podcast every day, we'll send you a notice saying, "Hey, you can reach us on these several ways." We'll talk to you about what the podcasts are. We'll give you special alerts, but that way, obviously, you can opt into email as well, which is also in the description on Facebook and on YouTube. But it's FREEDOM to 89517. Again, we're also building an app. That app will allow you to stay connected to us. We're going to use all the technology that they are basically telling us that they're trying to shut down to weaponize against people that I think are just the righteous. I call it the righteous right. But we have people that watch us that are on the left too, that basically just say, "Look, you stand for freedom. We stand for freedom." We have Democrats that set aside their stuff. I get emails every day about that. But also, when you get here, need you to share, right? When we launch it on the websites, you have the ability to go live on the website. You can share that stuff on your different social platforms. You can reach us on Parler. There's a lot of different ways that we're trying to basically destabilize these big tech companies that are basically being bullies and want you to be indoctrinated. So that's all I want to say, Max, is just that I wanted people to know
text
that
FREEDOM, text FREEDOM to 89517. And lots of people in the comment section saying that the text worked. YouTube and Facebook didn't send them notifications, which, it's great. That's why we're using the text, making sure that people know. So we have a ton to get through, and we'll do the plug for the text again later in the show. But I want to play, this is a cut of Rudy Giuliani talking about why he felt compelled to bring the laptop to Delaware Police after he found that there were questionable things on the laptop. Let's go ahead and play cut one.
Let's face it, it's Biden, the father, who's on the ballot in 2 weeks. Anything else other than what we've seen so far tying him to Hunter's business?
Two major things that I found. In addition to this, which basically says that Biden was getting 50% of the bribe money, which makes sense, actually. Well, this is really a very, very sensitive one. There's a text message to his father in which he says the following. And he's discussing his sister-in-law, who for quite some time was his lover. And he says, she told my therapist that I was sexually inappropriate. This would be with a unnamed 14-year-old girl. When she says that I FaceTime naked with the unnamed 14-year-old girl, and the reason I can't have her out to see me is because I'll walk around naked smoking crack, talking tom girls on FaceTime. When she was pressed, she said that the unnamed 14-year-old girl never said anything like that, but the bottom line is that I created and caused a very unsafe environment for the kids. This is supported by numerous pictures of underage girls.
So, Mr. Mayor, that's dynamite stuff. And I've seen it.
I turned it over to the.
You turned it over to the Delaware State Police, correct?
Yep.
Yes, yesterday. Bernie Kerrick and I turned it over to the Delaware State Police because we're very uncomfortable with this. So we're very uncomfortable with the fact that these underage girls were not protected.
So he turned it over yesterday. Don't celebrate yet. Don't celebrate, Joe. Don't celebrate. It's not time to celebrate. Mr. Producer, put on my screen. We can't quite celebrate yet.
Can I celebrate the fact that we can celebrate that we're either going to celebrate or we're going to have some massive problems, right?
So we know that he turned it over to Delaware State Police. What I need to tell you is that Delaware State Police just turned it back over to the FBI.
What? No.
I kid you not. Delaware Police just turned it back over to the FBI. So the FBI sat on it for a year.
Wow.
Rudy Giuliani finds these pictures, these videos, these texts, says this is it's making me uncomfortable. He turns it over to the police. Police gives it to the Attorney General. Attorney General insists that it goes back to the FBI, the same FBI who sat on it Very important, everyone. Hit the share button. We're doing the deep dive. This is where the deep dive starts. Hit that share button on Facebook. Make sure you give us a like. On YouTube, make sure you give us a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell for notifications.
Think about this.
And comment.
Think about what's happening. Think about what's happening. And by the way, if you don't want to share it from Facebook, you can actually just copy the URL on YouTube, hit the copy, go to your social platforms, and actually drop it on your social platforms. Right?
So,
listen,
I want to... Go ahead.
How? How do you... but we're at that worst part, right? They want to give it back to...
It gets worse. It gets worse.
All right, I want a caller. I need a caller to call me real quick. We need an idea. What do we do next? I want to hear it. Or better yet... I want a troll to call me. I want someone that can call me.
No trolls.
Yeah.
We have too much to get through. All
right, somebody call
time for them.
888-441-1121.
Someone call in. While we're waiting for them, put up image 8. This was from an article explaining why the hard drive was turned back over to the FBI. And this is from Matt Marshall, who's the spokesperson for Delaware Attorney General Kathy Jennings, and he says they've got a hard drive or a laptop or something to that effect. They try to turn it over to Newcastle County PD. Newcastle County PD calls us, and then it says Marshall added that Jennings' office handed over the device to the FBI because he had seen multiple reports about the Bureau looking into whether the claims were credible. In light of their investigation, we're referring it over to them now.
Is the Delaware Attorney General a Democrat or a Republican?
Yeah. It's a Democrat.
There you go.
Let's go ahead.
Our revolution. Let's kill people in the streets. That's what we're dealing with.
Image 9. Image 9. Here's Kathy Jennings. I've known Joe, Jill, and the Biden family for most of my life. Joe is one of the kindest and most genuine people I've ever known. I have seen him suffer incredible tragedy, the loss of his first wife, his daughter, and most recently his oldest son and my former boss, the late Attorney General Beau Biden. And I've seen him channel his grief into grace, empathy, and an unfailing talent for finding the good in everybody. Democrats are blessed with many excellent candidates this year, and I'm proud of what those choices say about our party. I'm choosing Joe because nobody understands more what it means to heal, and right now that's what America needs. That was a quote straight from the Facebook page of the Attorney General, who was just allegedly given evidence of either child endangerment, child molestation, child pornography, whatever you want to call it. She turned it back over to the do-nothing FBI, and that is her endorsement of Joe Biden. So it went to a pro-Biden Attorney General, and the pro-Biden Attorney General punted it back to the pro-Biden FBI. So we're back at square one.
Wow. How do you feel about that, people? How do you feel about that? Angry. Look, I don't care if Donald Trump was...
Josh says angry.
Yeah, he is angry. He's sitting in here angry. But listen, if look, you could say, oh, this is partisan. You just want to protect the Republicans. You're not talking about Trump. We're not talking about Trump because Trump didn't do anything wrong. Trump's not a pedophile. These people are pedophiles. These people are rapists. These people are closet racists. And now they stick together in this criminal enterprise. Max, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen, right? Just so we're clear what's going to happen. I'm a business guy, right? I am. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Here's what's going to happen. The law-abiding guys like me, right, like Dave that just called in, law-abiding citizens in this country who pay an enormous amount of tax, they're going to stand side by side. If you can't get it done, you want to take our tax money? You want to take our team's tax money, people on our team that work for our company, right? You want to take their hard-earned money and you want to corrupt it and use it for evil purposes? No, I'm out.
We've confirmed that the FBI had this since last December. They sat on it and did nothing, right? Rudy Giuliani, apparently there's a Delaware law that requires you to report child rape, child molestation, child endangerment, anything like that, child pornography. You're required to give it to the police. He gave it to county police. County police then punted and gave, even though they have jurisdiction, right? He gave it to the right police department who has jurisdiction over Hunter Biden, over the Bidens. Gave it to the right place. They punted it to the state police. The state police punted it to the Attorney General, and the pro-Biden Attorney General, who loves Joe Biden, said he's graceful, he does no wrong. She punted it back to the do-nothing FBI who sat on it for a year. If this doesn't make you furious, I don't think anything could. And I want to go through the narrative because the reason that the Attorney General claims, let's go ahead and put it up on the screen again. Let's put up image 8. I want to make sure I get the wording right. Marshall added that Jennings' office handed over the device to the FBI because he had seen multiple reports about the Bureau looking into whether the claims were credible. So this whole narrative, right? The reason that the Attorney General gave to not prosecute allegations of child sexual abuse, sexual misconduct, child pornography, the reason she gave is because the FBI is investigating whether it's Russian disinformation. So I want to play that so you understand how that fake narrative got started. Let's go ahead. This is Adam Schiff pulling this out of his ass, claiming that the Russians are behind Hunter Biden's laptop. Let's play cut 3.
Of the House Intelligence Committee, Congressman Adam Schiff. Congressman, thanks so much for joining us. Does it surprise you at all that this information Rudy Giuliani is peddling very well could be connected to some sort of Russian government disinformation campaign?
Well, we know that this whole smear on Joe Biden comes from the Kremlin. That's been clear for well over a year now, that they've been pushing this false narrative about the vice president and his son. And, you know, the idea that the president, that the White House counsel and others were made aware that Giuliani was being used by Russian intelligence and using Russian intelligence in the sense of meeting with an agent of the Kremlin and pushing out this Kremlin false narrative. The idea that they were knowing and still on the floor of the Senate during the impeachment trial, pushing this Kremlin narrative is pretty breathtaking. But I guess at this point we can't be shocked by anything this administration does, no matter how craven. But clearly the origins of this whole smear are from the Kremlin, and the president is only too happy to have Kremlin help in trying to amplify it.
Let's cut it. Let's cut it. So he impeached Donald Trump for saying that what Hunter and Joe Biden were doing in Ukraine sounds horrible to me, and asking Ukraine to work with the DOJ to look into it. That is why Donald Trump was impeached, because he made that request.
Right.
Work with our DOJ and FBI and look into this, because what I see looks terrible.
Yeah.
Giuliani then receives this data from a laptop repair person who Hunter Biden submitted his laptop to. We know that that happened because Hunter Biden's lawyer sent an email and called the shop asking for the laptop back as soon as he got asked for comment from the New York Post. So as soon as the Bidens got wind that this was all going to happen, he said, oh, wow, I remember I put my laptop in to get repaired. We should probably get that back. So if it was Russian disinformation, Hunter Biden wouldn't be trying to get his laptop back, right? So it's obviously his. We have his signature. The Delaware repair company is like 5 miles from a Joe Biden property. So it's obvious that it's his. So it's not Russian disinformation. That whole narrative, though, Schiff just created it out of thin air. And DNI Ratcliffe went on TV this week and just destroyed it. So let's go ahead and play cut 4. This is DNI Ratcliffe denying that Russian disinformation has any role here.
Tell us what's real and what's fake. Is this Russian disinformation, Director?
So, Maria, it's funny that some of the people that complain the most about intelligence being politicized are the ones politicizing intelligence. And unfortunately, in this case, it is Adam Schiff, the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, who, as you pointed out on Friday, said that the intelligence community believes that Hunter Biden's laptop and the emails on it are part of some Russian disinformation campaign. Let me be clear. The intelligence community doesn't believe that because there's no intelligence that supports that. And we have shared no intelligence with Chairman Schiff or any other member of Congress that Hunter Biden's laptop is part of some Russian disinformation campaign. It's simply not true. And this is exactly what I said I would stop when I became the Director of National Intelligence. And that's people using the intelligence community to leverage some political narrative. And in this case, apparently, Chairman Schiff wants anything against his preferred political candidate to be deemed as not real and is using the intelligence community or attempting to use the intelligence community to say there's nothing to see here. Don't drag the intelligence community into this. Hunter Biden's laptop is not part of some Russian disinformation campaign, and I think it's clear that the American people know that.
So he says that the DNI says that CIA, FBI did not tell Schiff this. So who could have possibly told Schiff this if none of the actual agencies told him? We know where this whole narrative started out. Let's put up image 10. This is from a Politico story. Hunter Biden's story is Russian disinfo. Dozens of former intel officials say that we covered this yesterday. Former intel officials. So these aren't even people who work in government now. They've just decided that this is Russian disinfo.
Yeah.
So that headline went around the world, right? Everyone, we've all seen it. Leave a comment in the comment section if you've seen it. I've seen it. What the headline doesn't tell you, put up image 11. This is a little bit down the page. This is what those 50 so-called former intel experts said. Quote, "We want to emphasize that we do not know if the emails provided to the New York Post by President Trump's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, are genuine or not, and that we do not have evidence of Russian involvement."
You know what this means? You know what this means? They play for the football team, and they want to support that football team. Hey, Max, I just got an email to my email address. Can I read it to you?
Yeah.
This is
Only
one of
if
the guys.
it's nice.
Now, do you remember this guy that literally he's a troll. He's a complete troll. Literally over the last 3 years, I finally blocked him and just put all of his stuff to spam, right?
Yeah.
Guys, you're going to want to hear this. And Max and I have actually talked about this guy. So we do read emails that come through if they're useful, even if they're,
if they're respectful.
Left. Yeah, if they're respectful, we'll have a conversation with them. But I got this email. You ready?
Yeah.
Now, this guy takes a lot of time. I mean, he spends a lot of time writing out big letters, calling me names and everything else. And then
I think I know who you're talking about.
About 4 months ago, he just stopped. He just stopped sending me anything. So I would poke him. I
He still
poking
sends
people.
me stuff.
Yeah, does he? Oh, no, not like this.
Yeah.
Joe, I used to hate you. I used to be a troll. I had to go back and check the email address. That's what I was doing.
I think we're talking about
like,
different people. I think we're talking about different people. The guy who emails me is still a troll.
All right. The more I listened to you, honestly, I wanted to punch you in the face. LOL, I'm not violent, but I'm not against punching a fascist. I was like, oh, great. It's going to be good. Fast forward, I did research, and I just wanted to apologize. I feel like a fool. And now I have no friends, but I do feel like I'm in a better place, even if I'm alone. Sincerely, former Democrat and former Antifa supporter, Jason. That's a big deal. I mean, that's kind of a big deal, because I would always challenge him, and I go, "Where are you getting your information?" And he would come back with some quote from some web address, and I'm like, "Dude, will you please stop quoting CNN? Please stop quoting CNN. Quit quoting Democracy Now." That's not helping you. Like, we're not having a conversation about real stuff. But to get that, literally, it was marked at 11:03 a.m. So, Jason, I know you're probably listening. Hey, I got you, brother. Hey, good to have you on this side. And you got plenty of friends at Conservative Daily. So all these people on this deal, make yourself known if you want to. If you don't want to make yourself known, great. But and actually, just somebody said, don't believe him, Joe. But there's no harm in believing him, right? I'd like to believe him. I'd like to believe him that he's previous. It's not like I'm going to invite him over to my house, right?
Yeah.
But I will. I mean, frankly, I will say that it takes a lot of guts to send an email like that after you've seen some of the other communication. I want to actually print it, but it has his email address on it.
So since Joe has now said he loves getting emails.
No, I don't. I saw that.
If you want to send
Take it
Joe
down.
a friendly email,
hey, take it
Joe
down.
Otto at conservative-daily.com.
What are you doing to me? Come on now. Don't do it.
Joe loves the emails.
I don't love
Joe
emails.
Otto at conservative-daily.com.
I cannot believe you. He just doxed me. You little
It's not
prick.
a
You
secret
just doxed
email.
me.
That's emails everywhere.
Yeah.
That's emails everywhere. It's not a secret. You can also reach him by emailing info at conservative-daily.com. That also gets forwarded to his email.
But it goes to everybody else in the organization too, so it's good, because then Max and
info
Josh
goes to me
everybody else
too.
can. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. No kidding. Look,
So we know-
but it does prove that what we're talking about does have an effect, right? And by the way, Rudy Giuliani actually listens to this podcast. He can actually also just send us the information, and we'll surely put it out there. We'll put it out everywhere, and we're shamelessly we will. And we own our own. We own our own pipeline. We own our own colo location. We own everything, all of our own stuff, right? So Amazon can't take us down. Microsoft can't. Nobody can take us down. Okay?
So what do you think, Joe, about this Politico headline? Let's put it up again. Image 10. Hunter Biden's story is Russian disinfo. Dozens of former intel officials say. Now let's put up image 11. They buried the lead.
Yeah.
We want to emphasize that we do not know if the emails provided to the New York Post by President Trump's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, are genuine or not, and that we do not have evidence of Russian involvement. They do not have evidence of Russian involvement, but they've decided it's Russian disinfo. Joe, this has been something that's just been crazy to me, because we posted this on Conservative Daily yesterday. I forget who someone put on Twitter. They put it great. They put it excellently. I don't like to make light of mental illness because everyone's got their issues. But over the last 4 years, we've seen a new mental illness develop, which is this idea that anything wrong with America, anything Trump is doing, anything you don't like is the result of Russia. Russia is not a world power anymore. They have nuclear weapons, but they're a mid-rate, a second-rate country. They don't have power in the world other than their stockpile and their conventional munitions. They don't have actual economic power. They're a struggling mid-rate nation. So this idea that there are leftists going around and everything they don't like, oh, Hunter Biden touched children, that's Russian disinfo. Like, imagine how mentally ill someone has to be just to jump to Russia did it. Russia did it. Russia did it.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen it over the last 4 years. It's taken root, and it's beyond Trump derangement syndrome. Trump derangement syndrome is another one. This idea that Trump is making people physically ill because they hate him so much.
Yeah.
But this idea that Russia is just pulling the strings. Listen, I think that they have the power to do some things, but they don't have the power to get Hunter Biden drunk off his ass, have him drop off his laptop to a local laptop repair 5 miles from his dad's home, and then forget to pick it up. That's not Russian disinfo. That's what happens when you have a crackhead.
That's what happens when you smoke crack.
Yeah.
Smoke crack, leave your computer, and all the details behind. Which, by the way, because you didn't pay your bill, they had every right to go through every bit of information. Jamie, how stupid do you have to be? This is how stupid they are. They leave it out there.
And just to make sure we slam the door on this nonsense, let's put up image 12. FBI and DOJ do not believe Hunter Biden laptop part of Russian disinformation campaign. Government officials across multiple agencies do not believe the contents on Hunter Biden's laptop are part of a foreign election interference effort. No, that's just a crackhead who forgot to pick up his laptop.
Yep. And a guy that's had his noggin taken off a couple times and screwed around in his brain and put the noggin back on.
Yeah.
Right? That's what we're dealing with. Hey, Mike said on YouTube, please send him pics of Biden gaffes. You can do that. That's it. Don't send me any pictures of anything else other than gaffes of Biden, please.
No nudes.
Please don't.
Do not send nudes to Joe Otto at conservative-daily.com.
Hey, what are you doing? Stop it, Max. Please don't. I do not want to be scarred for life. Right? I'm already scarred for life because we have a vice president who's basically an invalid. And, please don't. Please don't.
So let's play this. This is Ron Johnson on Fox News.
Ron Johnson. Wait, hold on. The Ron Johnson that thought that.
No, different guy.
Different Ron Johnson?
Different guy.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Ron Johnson, Republican senator from
Okay,
Wisconsin.
we like this guy then.
Different guy.
He's
asked if there's child porn on the laptop, and he dodges. He doesn't say yes, doesn't say no. Let's go ahead and play cut 2.
Here on Sunday Morning Futures, there is more to come, and there is further analysis of the subpoena's handwriting, and it suggests that the subpoena was served by an FBI agent who his name is Joshua Wilson, and over the last 5 years, he has been working on child pornography issues. Connect the dots. If an FBI agent is working on child pornography issues for 5 years, why is he subpoenaing the laptop of Hunter Biden? Is there a connection here? Should this suggest that there's a child pornography issue here on that laptop?
Well, I think you just made the connection. Again, this is what the FBI, I think, has to come clean about. This isn't a standard investigation where, if the FBI doesn't indict somebody, that everything remains confidential. This is something that, as we were talking about, relates to national security. And if there's criminal activity involved that could be tied to Hunter Biden or his business associates, or even possibly tied back to other members of the Biden family, and as some of these emails indicate that Joe Biden was fully aware of this. He was taking his 10% cut or requiring 50% from his family member's salary. This needs to be known before Americans go to the polls.
So was the FBI agent who served the subpoena investigating child pornography, Senator?
Well, you just read the news report. I can't comment any further. I don't want to speculate other than to say that what I said publicly before, our report uncovered so many troubling connections, so many things that need to be investigated that I really think we're just scratching the surface. And yes, I've heard all kinds of things that I think will probably be revealed over the next few days. There's a treasure trove of emails and video and pictures in not only the purported computer of Hunter Biden, But now we've got the co-conspirator, Bevan Cooney, that also starting to reveal information. I guess we're probably going to just find more information every day over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. So he didn't deny. This is what gets me, Joe. The fact that a grand jury issued a subpoena tells me that a grand jury had already been impaneled.
Right.
You don't just get a call from
Ring,
a
ring.
laptop repair company that says, oh, yeah, I have a laptop. It doesn't really mention what's on it. And all of a sudden, one of the lead FBI agents dealing with child endangerment cases, all of a sudden, he just, out of thin air, impanels a grand jury and out of thin air gets a subpoena. That tells me, and I don't have evidence for this, but it's not that easy just to impanel a grand jury just to get the saying that it's so easy to get a subpoena that you could indict a ham sandwich with a grand jury. I get that, but
Yeah,
the legwork required to actually set the grand jury up and actually impanel it, you can't just do that overnight. So for this to be that quick of a turnaround and to be assigned to, let's go ahead and put up my screen. We have a picture of him. This is Joshua Wilson. He's on the left. He is with the FBI's CARD team. Now, I want to make sure I get the acronym right. FBI's CARD team is for the Child Abduction Rapid Deployment. That's the guy, Joshua Wilson on the left. He works on the FBI's Child Abduction Rapid Deployment team. For him to go from, I don't think he's actually stationed in Delaware. I think he's stationed in Pennsylvania or New Jersey. For him to drive down to Delaware to get it himself suggests that there's something else there. I don't think that the laptop is the first that the FBI has heard that there might be gross stuff happening with kids related to Hunter Biden. It just, the timeline doesn't work. The fact that he was given the laptop, it just doesn't add up. There has to have been something else. There had to have been something else to prompt this, because to deploy him that quickly, the timeline wouldn't make sense otherwise.
Yeah, I think that there's something else that's that we should probably be aware of, and that is the grand jury could still be going on right now. We could literally, I mean, grand jury could be impaneled for, I mean, we've seen grand juries impaneled for a year and a half, 2 years. Yeah. So they want to make sure they get it right. And again, there's even people that are actually putting posts on YouTube and on Facebook saying, hey, listen, I've lost faith in this, or I've lost faith in this. So have I. So have we. We talked about it yesterday. We talked about the GOP basically, taking their spine, throwing it away, and becoming a blob, right? Because they would not subpoena the what are they called? The Facebook and YouTube, or Facebook and Twitter, right? But I do want to tell you that we are becoming more vocal. Like the people that work in this country are becoming more vocal. We're showing up, and frankly, I'm pretty encouraged by what we're seeing. It doesn't mean that I'm there and that I'm happy and, we can go back to normal. We'll never get off. We'll never go back to sitting on the couch and watching this happen again. Do you agree? I mean, the people listening, do you agree? Right? Because we have to be the ones to watch it. And I got to tell you, the other part is we don't know where the head of the snake is, because the snake is so big. I mean, our government is so bloated. As a guy that runs a company, a fairly large company, a set of companies, our government is bloated. I mean, it is busting at the seams bloated.
So we talk about Hunter, and Hunter is obviously he's a private citizen, right? But the text between Hunter and his father, we can go ahead and we can put, since we have more people watching, we go ahead and put it up again. Let's put up image 1. This is we started the show with this, where Hunter Biden's texting his father, Joe Biden, complaining that his, I guess, sister-in-law, Rudy Giuliani said it, not me, his sister-in-law told Hunter's therapist that Hunter was sexually inappropriate with, according to Rudy Giuliani, an unnamed 14-year-old girl. When she says that Hunter FaceTimed naked with her, and the reason that Hunter can't have her out to see him is because he'll walk around naked, smoking crack, talking to girls on FaceTime. And that she claimed that he created
girls.
Yeah, Tom girls. And that she claims that he created a very unsafe environment for kids. That's what kind of prompted Rudy Giuliani to say, okay, there's something there. And I can't get over the fact that he sends it to the local police. They give it to the state police. State police gives it to the pro-Biden attorney general. Pro-Biden attorney general gives it back to the do-nothing FBI. And now we're back at square one. But on YouTube, Brandon writes in and says, well, I guess that just makes Joe Biden smelling up little kids even more creepy. It does. And I'm not saying that the crimes of the son are also the crimes of the father. I will tell you that that Hunter and Joe Biden appeared on a cover of Popular Mechanics in 2016 saying that Hunter learned everything from his father. Obviously, they're not talking about this, but it definitely does call into question the many videos of Joe Biden sniffing children, inappropriately touching children, inappropriately, I don't want to say grabbing, putting his hands in areas of young girls that just makes you uncomfortable. Joe, interestingly enough, the Biden campaign has a team of rapid reactionary people online who are able to determine what narratives are working against Joe, and then they swiftly get out there with disinformation to dispel it. And one of the things they found that the most effective attack against Joe, one of them, was that he's just damn creepy.
Right.
And I'm shocked that Donald Trump has not come out with Creepy Joe. He says Sleepy Joe. Joe Biden's creepy as hell. We have a video. This is all publicly available information. It was all captured from C-SPAN. Joe Biden doing swearing-in ceremonies, I assume in the Senate. Let's play cut 5.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
All right, well, nice to see you guys.
Senator Coons from Delaware.
See you back home, I hope.
Joe Biden sniffing his daughter's hair, whispering in her ear. Watch as she moves away. This is all... Whoever made this up with the slow-mo is hilarious.
Come on, you jump in here. What do you want to do?
3, 2, 1. Sniff.
Touches the hair. Sniff.
Okay, right hand up. Here's the official. Now, guys,
None of these are doctored, with the exception of that slow-mo, whoever made this clip. Let's see,
Wow.
he has his hands
How
on
crazy.
his shoulders. That's not a big deal, but the moving the hair was a little strange.
Oh, yeah. Here, stand beside me. What is wrong with him?
Like, what is going on there? Moving the hair back. I mean, it's just... That's, I don't know, that's strange. Listen, I want to be able to say that this is all innocent. It just gets harder and harder to do.
How are you?
With the sun. Oh, we have more. Jesus.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm a friend of your grandpa. My name's Joe.
Hi, I'm a friend of your grandpa's. My name's Joe. Ugh.
I don't think I can do any
It's kind
more
of
of
creepy.
this.
All right, let's just pull it up, please.
Let's take it off. There is a plethora of videos out there of Joe Biden sniffing.
And you guys
touching
thought
children.
plethora was taken out of the dictionary. You did. Tell me you did. You did. But Max
What?
just used it. A plethora.
Yeah,
There is
plethora.
a plethora.
A lot. A lot. Stephanie on YouTube says that she cracks up when I mention that Hunter Biden's out smoking crack. I guess the way I say it makes her laugh. It's funny, except, I mean, it's not funny because people who have drug abuse problems, it's a horrible disease in this country. But for drug abuse to be in such a powerful family, it's not unheard of. But Joe Biden is obviously blackmailable. What his son Hunter has done around the world, what he's allegedly done with children, his drug use. If Joe Biden were to win the presidency, he could very easily be blackmailed. Very easily, which is why it's more important than ever that these details get out. And all of this, Joe, reminds me of a story that Joe Biden told.
Max, one of the people on the team keeps sending me emails that came into my email. So, Stephanie, thank you for the email that says, for sale, for information, call Hunter. And then I guess Andrew sent a box that says nudes. It's just a beige box. I appreciate the beige box. It's good. Thank you.
So all of this reminds me of a story that Joe Biden told a couple of years ago. We've played it on the show before. We're going to play it again. Yeah. Him at his old childhood swimming pool, telling a very strange story about how he used to love when kids would rub his legs. Let's go ahead. Let's play the story. Let's play cut 6.
I saw that made me aware when I was in law school. Proudly for Holloway. Proudly for your dad. First African-American state senator in the state of Delaware. everything about. And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand,
Arm
and it
around
get
the kid.
hot. I got hairy legs
That's
that turn turn blonde in the sun.
Yeah.
And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap.
I learned about roaches.
And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
I love kids jumping on my lap.
And I tell you what.
Oh my gosh.
All
right, let's cut it.
I can't do
Cut
it. My eyes.
Now?
I love kids. They reach into the pool and they rub my leg down. And then they always I'm thinking to myself, in the water, your hair doesn't come back up. I'm just trying to figure this out.
So I don't know if we've ever played this on the podcast before, but there is an animated version.
Josh says
story.
he's a roach. You're right.
Yeah.
He's a roach.
There's an animated version of this story put out by a YouTube channel called Sven Staffel's Animation. And I love what they did with this. It's creepily funny. And it shows that if we actually talked about Joe Biden, he would never win. Anytime you talk about Joe, he demands that you talk about Trump instead and refuses to discuss anything that he's done, anything his family's done. He said, it's a distraction. We have to talk about Trump. And the media just eats it up and lets him do it. But this is an animated video from Sven Staffel's. Excellent job on this. Very creepy. Hammers it home. Let's go ahead and play cut 7.
And by the way, you know, I got hairy legs that turn turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
I can't. Oh my gosh. I don't know how we went from the crime family to being blackmailable to that, but that is the best video that I've ever seen.
It is.
Right?
And
it is.
So
and if you're
we
watching on the
got
podcast and you can't see this video, I'm sorry. I mean, if you're just watching on the podcast, but it's really, really funny.
Yeah.
And I think it's called Sven Staffel's.
Sven Staffel's. If you look up Joe Hairy Legs cartoon, it'll pop up on YouTube.
Yeah.
But the way we connect this is that it's obvious now, the fact that Rudy Giuliani turned it over, and the fact that instead of just dismissing it, they kept punting it to other agencies in Delaware. It's obvious there's something there to justify it going to the FBI, right? If it was nothing, the local PD would have just squashed the case.
Right.
So it's obviously there's something there. It went to a pro-Biden attorney general who says she knows Joe Biden and knows that he's a good person, and she endorses him.
Oh, yeah.
So we see the text between Hunter Biden and Joe Biden, where Hunter's saying that he's not allowed to see kids in their family members related to him. He's not allowed to see them, a 14-year-old girl, because he's sexually inappropriate with her. And you see that Joe Biden's on the text message, on the conversation with him about it. And you see all this stuff with Joe Biden in history, sniffing kids, inappropriately touching kids. He's talking about how he loves when kids jump on his lap, how he loves when kids would rub his legs in the pool. It's just weird stuff. It's too weird not to talk about. And I'd love to chalk it up to just the weird grandpa doing weird stuff. But when you put all these pieces together, it just gets to be too much. It gets to be too much. And the fact that the FBI had Hunter Biden's laptop for that long, did nothing, and now it's been punted all the way up. Joe, they punted that, what Rudy Giuliani gave him, it got punted from local PD all the way to the FBI inside of a day. Not one of those agencies took a day to look it over and decide whether they want to pursue the case. They punted it up in less than a day.
Right.
It was completely out of the local and state system in Delaware and back in the Fed's hands. It's shameful. So I don't know if Joe Biden's complicit. I do know that Joe Biden was obviously notified that Hunter isn't allowed to see certain children because he's sexually inappropriate with them. We know that Joe Biden was notified about that he was informed. And we know 100%. That Joe Biden's creepy as hell.
100%.
We leave it up to you. We leave it up to you to decide whether you think there's any there. I think there is. I think that it's too much to ignore, which is why we had to talk about this today. It's just too much. And I think that this brings new life into why it's so important that we need to see Joe Biden's sealed records. This came up during the Tara Reade thing, where it became known that all of his records are sealed at the University of Delaware from when he was a senator. right? He has all of his records, all of his internal deliberations, everything. All of his staff notes are locked away at the University of Delaware. The only thing we've gotten is Joe Biden's promise that it doesn't include anything related to sexual misconduct. That's all we've gotten. I find it hard to believe that a man who so often, so frequently touches people inappropriately, sniffs their hair, does strange stuff, credibly accused of sexual assault, credibly accused of sexual harassment. I find it hard to believe that his Senate documents wouldn't have anything proving that, wouldn't have anything suggesting it was true. And this idea that they're just going to be locked up until he dies or he permanently leaves public life, it's insane. Absolutely insane. You talk about we wanting to see Donald Trump's tax returns. I want to see Joe Biden's Senate papers. So we have a clip of Joe Biden saying he doesn't want them to be sealed. I'm not even going to play it. It's obviously he doesn't want them to be unsealed. He wants to coast into the election, and he's hiding in his house until tomorrow. He's hid there all week, partially to hide from this. But it's just this is too much. This is too much. I mean, we're talking about children here, Joe.
We are talking about children, and yet they don't care. They don't care about children. They don't care about children. They don't care about black people. They don't care about minorities. They don't care about poor people. They don't care about any of it. What they care about is themselves. Because in Joe Biden's words, when his family does well, everyone does well. Right?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, we have a sickness in our country, a massive sickness. Massive. Putting all the funny aside until now. I found the new Biden 2020, just so you know, I found his new billboard that I think we should actually put up. No, literally, it's actually really good. And one of our listeners actually sent it to me. So, Josh, go up and throw up Biden 2020, please. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is Biden
2020. Hairy legs 2020.
Yeah, but they're not blonde yet. You have to wait, and nobody's rubbing them.
You have to
yet.
wait.
So
you need the sun to hit them. You need the chlorine to bleach the hair. It'll get.
Yeah, it's gonna take a little while.
There's no chlorine at the beach, but
Yeah.
it'll take some time.
Yeah.
And sure enough, as soon as it does, small black children will come out of the woodwork and just start rubbing them.
Yeah, because that and then roaches will appear to do a song in the background. Hello, I'm a little roach.
Yeah. Listen, Donald Trump has to bring this up. He has to talk about Joe Biden's creepiness. He has to talk about the fact that Joe Biden was notified that his own son is not allowed to see an underage family member because he's sexually inappropriate with her. And apparently he did nothing.
Yeah.
So Joe Biden has to be asked about this. This is not Russian disinformation. This is Hunter Biden's laptop. He smoked crack, forgot he put it in for repair, and now we get to see all of his dirty laundry. And dirty it is. It is not Russian disinformation. These are real emails, real texts, and it shows that there's serious troubles in the Biden household. And yes, it goes up to Biden one way or another, depending on how you want to look at it. Okay, Joe, I'll give you the final word.
So,
since
I say this first because Christopher just said
day.
Christopher said that these are Harris's legs in that.
No, don't be mean. Don't be mean.
Oh, it's kind. I could be mean if I want.
Elizabeth Warren, I'd believe it, but Harris, I wouldn't.
Ooh, could be
a little too light skinned. Remember, she's half Jamaican, half Indian. Those ain't no Jamaican Indian legs.
Could have been. You never know.
But Native American, they could be.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I get the last comment of the
dog finally gets his day.
All right. You know how many times, guys? Everybody in the comments.
Before we do, I have to push this, Mr. Producer. Put up image 13. Sorry, I keep forgetting to do this. Tomorrow night, 8:30 Eastern, we're going live. I can't drink because my wife is going to go into labor any day now. So instead of, we'll put out drinking game rules, but instead of that, I'm doing a hot wing challenge. 90-minute debate, eating 9 hot wings over the course of the debate, 1 wing every 10 minutes, starting with Tabasco at 1,200 Scoville, ending with the last dab. Anyone who's seen Hot Ones knows that's over 2 million Scoville heat units. So we're doing this tomorrow, 8:30 Eastern. We go live with the pregame. The pain starts at 9 p.m., so make sure you check out on our channel. We'll also send you a text when we go live, just so in case Facebook doesn't want to show you. But that's what we're doing tomorrow night. Don't miss it. Okay, Joe, sorry. You get the last word.
Do notice that Max did the 2 million Scoville at the end so that he could sweat and bleed.
Yeah. Well, you've never seen Hot Ones?
I haven't seen Hot Ones.
You start with the easy ones, and you get all the way to the hard ones. That's going to be painful. I tasted a couple of them last night. It's not going to be fun.
So I know. Did you? Good, huh?
Yeah.
So
the one I tried was Professor Fart Pounder's colon cleaner. That one wasn't bad, but it creeps up on you.
So listen, every now and then we have a little humor inside of the show. We want to keep it a little bit more light, but these are serious things that we talk about. And although, every dog gets his day, it's never a good day when we're talking about someone who's a pedophile. It's never a good day when we're talking about a child becoming a victim of some old man or older man, or just of abusing that individual sexually. So this is a huge problem. I know one of the things that Tig brought up was 16 seconds, right? And so every 16 seconds, a child in this country is abducted and pushed into the slave trade. Average age of that person is 12 years old. I was told 10, it's 12. It's one between 10 and 12. So I just want you to know that we're talking about something very serious, and we're also talking about a pandemic that actually does plague us, and that is a pandemic of pedophilia, right? And so it's not normal. Nobody could ever tell us it's normal, and we've got to protect our kids. In this case, we got to hold people accountable. Always does seem to be the Democrats that we have to hold accountable because it's in their ethos, it's in the culture of the entire political organization. So this is Joe Otto. I want you to be safe. You got to fight for what's right. Get off your couch, and this is just the beginning.
So that's going to be it for this edition of the podcast. Make sure you tune in tomorrow night, 8:30 Eastern, when we have the Hot Wing Challenge. We go live Monday through Friday, usually at 2 p.m. Eastern. We're an hour early today to accommodate Joe's travel schedule. He's going out of town. But he'll be on. You'll be on tomorrow night, right, Joe, remotely?
I'll be on tomorrow night.
He'll be on remotely. He won't be doing the wings because he's a little girl, but he'll be doing the drinks.
I'm a little girl.
So
I'll
make
be
sure
in
you
Vegas.
Make
Where
sure
am I
you
going to find hot sauce in Vegas?
I can next day it to you. Amazon next day.
Listen, I'm the same person in Vegas that I am at home, and I just want to,
How about this? We'll send you the last dab only. You can just do the last dab. You don't have to do the whole work.
Dab, or is it a different type of dab?
Last dab. We'll send you the hottest, the 2 million, and you can just do that. So make sure you tune in for tomorrow. Maybe Joe will do it. Maybe he won't. Tune in and see what he decides. Usually we go live 2 p.m. Eastern. We went a little early today, but make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the bell for notifications. Make sure you like and follow our Facebook page so you can get the notifications. Also, text FREEDOM to 89517. Text system's working out great. Lots of people like it. It'll send you a notification when we go live every day. We were able to get that notification out so people knew we went early.
And by the way, we're continuing to grow that list. I think it was 850 max yesterday.
Yeah.
So look, we are getting more and more people that are actually going to get notified, and we're going to build out the technology right now. So just head up, eyes forward, head on a swivel, right? Keep it frosty.
Make sure you also subscribe to our audio podcast. Very important. If you can't watch the live stream, you can listen as you go about your day. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Google Play. We are on Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Podbean. Soon to be Pandora. They're taking their sweet time, but we'll be on there soon. So make sure you check out those links in the description. We're also on Parler. Follow us at Conservative Daily. Be happy to follow you back. There's a link for our merch if you want to help support the channel, as well as a link to sign up for our email newsletter. Very important in case we get throttled or taken off the air. That's how we're going to organize and bring the show back online. So that's all I need to say. Again, my name is Max McGuire.
This is Joe Otto.
And remember that the fight to take back our country clearly isn't over, but the only way we win is if we all stand and fight together.